All right. Here we go. Great evening, great evening. This is the dynamic, daring, one of a kind diva Denise Silence. Excited to have you guys on tonight. If it's your first time tuning in, please put in the chat where you're tuning in from. And if you are here as a repeat offender, you're here all the time, put in the chat also where you're tuning in from. We just love to know who is in the audience. And if you watch this later, just know that we wish you would be live with us, but we're so glad. I'm excited tonight to have an amazing guest. But before we get started with that, as we always do every Tuesday, we want to introduce you to Empowered by DS. If you have not learned about us, so let me grab this real quickly. Work with me. Here we go. All righty, there we go. Find that circle here. All right, so who is Empowered by DS? So Empowered by DS, the DS is for Denise Silas. Those are my two amazing daughters that operate this business with us. We have been going strong in the name of Empowered by DS since January of 2024. So we have 2 solid years under our belt. Our whole mission is to empower women to be the best version of themselves in the current season of their lives. And we do that through hosting various experiences. So weekly, right here on Tuesday. We're here most Tuesdays. We do have a couple Tuesdays in the month of November and December that we're going to take off right before the holidays. But most of the time we are here. I usually send out a reminder text so that people know that we are here. Also, we do a some type of devotional. We're working right now with John Maxwell, 21 Laws of Leadership, but his devotional, 21 Most Powerful Minutes of a Leader's Day. So we try to connect spiritually as well. And then on monthly, we host Divas Dinner and Dialogue. What that is our social self-care. It's our opportunity to come together for a Divas Night Out. Through conversation, we're building confidence, creating community and connection. So that's one of our fun in-person events. And then on a quarterly basis, we do an empowerment workshop. The purpose of the workshop is to help women to build personally and professionally. We're all about helping people to identify their gifts and their talents and to really nurture that and then to stand in it unapologetically. So we do that. We kick off the beginning of the year as a vision board experience. And then at the end of the year, we end up with our vision to victory experience. So we're all about in between there, we do then our mid-year inspection so that we want to keep people on track. Then we have a lot of people who are not local to us. So then we created our Empower Me subscription box. So every quarter we have a theme. And then through the subscription box, we have affirmations, we have prayers. It's a journal that's created specifically to help women to focus on what's important to them. And then for 12 weeks, the only thing you can put in this journal is things related to whatever your goals and your desires are. So we have that. And then yearly, we have held our very first retreat this past year in April, and we call it a day away, an escape, and that's going to be one of our signature retreats as well. So we did that. We also do a focus challenge, a fitness challenge once a year. We just finished our Feel the Chill in Your Hottest Heels, which is an event I do in memory of my sister to bring awareness to ovarian cancer. Right now, and I'll talk about it a little bit more, we're doing our Adopt a Grandparent campaign, but next month we'll have our very last event of the year. It's our Vision to Victory celebration. So kicking off the year with a vision board party. Don't want that vision board to be in the back behind the door. We want to keep it focused. And then at the end of the year, we celebrate all things, not just the results, but your efforts through it. My daughter creates a PowerPoint to celebrate ladies, and they tell us how they want to be celebrated. So we're excited about preparing for that right now. So with that, so the Tuesdays, as Carol mentioned earlier, next week is going to be all about menopause. So I'm excited. She shared with me some of her notes and information. I promise you, I don't care what stage of the game that you're in. With that, you are going to learn some things that's going to be very helpful with you as well. And then the week after that, we're going to pause so that we can, get family focused. If you guys take 2 or 3 days to prepare for Thanksgiving dinner, I don't want to interrupt that. I'm not the one, me either, Carol. They gonna get what they gonna get. So that's gonna happen on Thanksgiving Day. But there's some other people. But this is give you time also to just kind of get prepared for the holidays and your family if you have anybody coming in. So also, if you are going to somebody's house for Thanksgiving, how about giving them an empowerment subscription box? It's not only do you can do a subscription, but you can also just do a one-time gift. So this would be perfect for the holidays. Has the Thanksgiving colors with it as well. So you can purchase our subscription where you get a repeat with the T-shirt. It's $55, and then you can do a one-time gift with the T-shirt and a one-time gift without the T-shirt, and without the T-shirt is $35. So we can ship it to you. So it has some fun things in it. And it's all the subscription boxes are a little bit different. They the consistent thing is it's always going to be some type of drinkware, some type of the journal, and some type of clothing. So all the other fun things in between can change a little bit, but take a look at it, and we would love for you to, consider it for a hostess gift as well. And then adopt a grandparent. This is something I have been doing for the last 12 years. Very excited about the opportunity to be able to partner with some of my customers, people in the community, for us to be able to make a difference for the low-income seniors in Northern Mississippi. The difference with these seniors, they're not at home. So like a nursing home, they're in their own homes. And I work with Sacred Heart Southern Mission, and some of the stories that she shares with me, are just very tugs on my heart. So I'm excited that we're able to do that. So it's people are living longer. I promise y'all, people are living longer because this number is growing. We started out like 200, and now we're at 400 seniors. Over 400 seniors, so we can't do it by ourselves. So if you are feeling like you would love to give back, $16 can make a big difference. And so you can text the word senior back to the number that you got a text from if you did, but that's the number, and you can get the information and be able to support. And you don't have to live locally to do it as well. So we have that. And to save the date, we had our date locked down. I'm not going to talk bad about this person, that now we have to find us a new location for it. So, but we will have our vision to victory, just date to be determined. And I'm still shooting for the 12th or the 13th, but the location, we have to find a new location. So I'm going to move past that so I won't get mad. And check us out. Check out our website, empoweredbyds.com. And in addition to all those things that we do for our community, I also offer one-on-one coaching, group training. One of my signature things I'm doing, just a 60 to 90 minute sessions, getting people ready for the new year. So if you want more information about that, just email us at empoweredbyds@gmail.com. And follow us on all things, Empowered by DS on all things. Just hit us up. And definitely, if you're on Facebook, we would love for you to be a part of our Facebook community called Decide Tribe. Decide stands for Divas Empowering and Connecting Individuals Who Dare to Excel. So if you are a diva who dares to excel, we would love for you to be a part of our community. So please check us out. And that was it. Woo, that was us. So I am excited. I'm excited to have Miss Carol. We go way back. We've been running these in these streets together for a little bit of time. So I'm going to stop her share and bring up her 2-second bio. I was like, is this really the bio?
That's it. 2 seconds.
Oh, I didn't want to start like myself. Uh-oh. How did I end up so? Remove spotlight. I'm sorry. I always tell people I'm working on being so fabulous, but it ain't today. Did I do you? There we go. Got you on screen. Our guests. We love to have our guests on the screen. So let me share with you this very long, intense bio that she gave me. So Carol is a speaker, trainer, business coach, and skincare consultant for a gazillion years. Can we say that? For I know more than 33 years because I've been in the business for 33 years. She's fierce advocate for women's empowerment. She's lifelong learner, a grandma to Cairo. How you pronounce his middle name?
Soul.
Soul Allen. Her life scripture is Jeremiah 17:7. So that's it. That's all she wanted to share, y'all. But we know that Carol is definitely an entrepreneur, has been a strong entrepreneur for years. She has worked with many women across the country, have served on some amazing committees and stuff like that. So we know that she more than what she put on that paper. But I'm excited to have her. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for saying yes for tonight. So let's jump in it. And if you just recently jumped in, please put in the chat where you are tuning in from. If this is your first time on the Empowered by DS experience, please put that in there as well. So we are excited to have you. And then if you have any questions, I'm going to open up my chat just so I can see it. Feel free to ask questions. We're going to have some dialogue on today, but really the whole goal, and for me, the reason why I asked Carol to join today, because I always say Carol lives life ahead of me. That was how we always said, she just lived life ahead of me. But I have watched her just in different seasons. And a lot of times, women can be in a different season, but sometimes feel alone, like they're the only one that has gone through that season. And whether it's being an empty nester, now a new grandma, all those great things that happen for her as well. So that's why I asked her to be on. So thank you again for saying yes. So you ready to jump in, Carol?
I am. And thank you for saying I'm a season ahead of you instead of saying I'm older.
Just living life. I say living life ahead of me.
There you go.
Kids were older, it's just living life ahead of me. So
exactly.
Because you can have somebody who's younger that's also have lived life ahead of you.
This is
so
true.
It's not just by age as well. So Welcome everybody. So our first questions: you have lived through several transitions over the last few years. When did you realize you needed to make some changes and start to rediscover your joy and sense of self again?
Okay, so I am going to share some of the transitions that I've gone through. For anybody who is on this Zoom, just know that it doesn't have to be a crisis. I've had a lot of things happen. It could be just like a light bulb moment. It could be at any point in your life. But for me, I'm going to give you the rundown and see why I was really focused on transitioning. In the last few years, I had my last children graduate from college. And so became I was not an empty nester, but they don't need you as much. Like you're not as involved. And right after that, I was divorced, which meant I was going solo at this time and had been in a marriage for 30 years. 30 years, you guys. Sold my house and downsized. So, relocating is like a big transition as well. After all that, guess what happened? COVID. And everybody knows that COVID set us down and made us rethink a lot of things that were happening. Not only during COVID did I have to rethink, my entire business model changed during COVID. So we're doing like back-to-back things. Once we were out of that, I was like, oh, I can see clearly. But very shortly after that, my mom had a medical crisis. And I have the most amazing sisters in the world. And we decided that we were going to take care of my mom, mostly them because they live in the city. But I would fly into Philadelphia once a month and stay there for 5 to 7 days to help assist my sisters in taking care of my mom. So you guys can see I'm like transitioning without having an opportunity to stop. Unfortunately, I lost my mom in February of 2023. But about the same time, I got COVID really, really bad. I got COVID. And then March, I broke my ankle. So once I broke my ankle and going through that entire grief process, it gave me an opportunity to sit down and just try to think about what I wanted my life to look like. Like I was going to have to let go of what was and start focusing on what was next. And so that was the big thing with the transition. And what was the other part of the question that you asked, Denise? Because it was 2 parts.
Well, I think you answered it because it was the different transitions that put you in position where you started to rediscover your joy. So you say that was the cause of it. And let's go back, Carol. And what time frame? That was a short period time frame that we're talking about that you
Yeah.
covered all, because it sounded like it was a lot. So you think it was over a lot of period of time, but it really wasn't.
No, no. It was like when one year, the next year, the next year, the next year. So it was important for me to take a minute to get my grounding and find my joy, and be intentional about it. Because sometimes, ladies, would you not agree that when you're in the midst of things happening, you
You
just kind of, you're drifting along with everything, and you don't have an opportunity to even stop to recapture yourself, your joy, rediscover yourself, because you're too busy processing constantly.
and you're reacting. You find yourself reacting to just what's going on. You can't, when you're trying to figure out the last thing, if you're into something else right away, you got to now go to the next thing. So it's that constant um trying to adjust to the adjustment to the adjustment. It's like it just
Yeah.
be triggered. Yes, on autopilot.
Autopilot. Yeah, exactly. And then we have to understand that you can grieve the past, just things, grieving your children leaving, right? And so there's a lot of grief going on that people don't identify as grief. They feel something, they don't know what it is, but you're grieving all the things that are no more at the
Right.
same time.
Right. And I think people don't, I agree with you, Carol, that people don't look at that. So if I'm just listening to what you just said, you had the, empty nester for some people that's grieving. Then you went from your divorce. You had grieve your house when people have to, when they decide
Mhm.
to leave their home. That was it. Then your mom, you know, the whole COVID, the change. If nobody else felt grief during that doggone COVID, trying to figure it out, and then still trying to serve other people through the process,
Yes,
right? So yes, I can definitely you know when you have all those things that people are dependent on you, then how you do it as well. So we're going to come back to that, because that's a big
yes,
piece of trying to, we as women, trying to manage ourselves and still having other people who depend on us, and how you balance that um,
exactly.
as well. So okay, so now that your children are grown, whew,
Woo-hoo.
and life looks different, how have you started redefining what purpose looks like for you in this new season, especially as a mom who was very intentional about the time you spent with your children, and being able to take them here and there, and being at their sports? So how does that impact you?
Yeah, and Denise knows I was very hands-on, very hands-on. But one of the things that happens when you have major changes like that, you start to feel like you lose pieces of your identity. Now, and I wasn't one of those moms, my whole identity wasn't my marriage and my children, but it was a big part of who I identified myself as. So I felt like I was losing those parts of my identity, but I had to figure out how to regain things for myself. So what I ended up doing was I started to try to live intentionally for me, for all the things that I was pouring to other people. And not only for me, where I am right now, but like back then I was like, I'm living for 65-year-old Carol, 70-year-old Carol, 75-year-old Carol. I'm living
Mm.
for who I am now and who I want to look back on. Right. And so one of the things that I started doing was the first thing I started doing was reconnecting with my body. I had always worked out, but I started working out intentionally. And instead of doing it at home, I joined the gym because I needed community. So I had the community by going to the gym. And, it wasn't even just about looking good, even though I want to look good. But I feel like working out also heals you emotionally. Like we hold a lot of stress and things in our body. And so just the movement really, really helped me. So I spent a lot of time doing that. Some of my friends might say I did a lot of stuff. Like I started playing pickleball. And once again, I want to do an activity where I was also going to have community. And do you guys remember when you were young and you would go to the playground and someone would say, "Do you want to play with me?" I promise you, pickleball is like that. You show up at the pickleball court and they're like, hey, you want to come play with me? It's like adult playground, if you ask me. I mean, I just decided I wanted to embrace and learn everything new that I could. Anybody ever heard of Mahjong? I learned how to play Mahjong, which is a Chinese tile game. I took a Spanish class. I know some people say no, it's great. I took a Spanish class. I took a Shakespearean acting class, which I think they were going to kick me out because I'm very analytical. And when I was in the class, all they kept saying was loosen up, honey, loosen up. But I love it because I learned so much about myself, and what I was willing to do was put myself in uncomfortable places that I don't usually, I'm not like artsy like that, right? And things like that. So that's what I really started doing. Um, I started reconnecting with people. I joined a meetup group. I was intentional about relationships, even calling people to have coffee one on one, people who are like mindset. If you were on the Zoom that we did about grief, one of the things that I thought was really important for me was to get love deposits. So I think my sisters are on, two of my sisters are on, I have friends. I would literally schedule times to go visit people, even if it was a short period of time, to get love deposits. And so it's just about being intentional about feeding yourself and being like and Denise always says it's the best version of yourself in this season. Because let me tell you, that was last season, Carol. Okay. I needed to be the best version of this season of myself.
And when you said that, what made me think about is needing to pivot. Are we
Yes.
pivoting fast enough to be able to get to the best version or get to the joy? Like doing stuff. And I remember when you started telling me the different stuff, I was like, that doggone Carol. Like
archery.
Right. That's what I was picture. I was like, is she doing archery? Like, but the exciting thing about that is discovering a person that you didn't even know. Right.
Yes.
Because you're doing stuff. I think we get so stuck on doing what we've been doing and then get stuck on the other thing I love about it, Carol, is that you weren't waiting for other people, other friends to be doing it too. You went and found some new friends, like some people, because sometimes we may have an interest in something, but we won't pursue the interest because our other friends around us aren't interested in going. So then we don't go, right? Because you're going to do what your girlfriends do.
Yes.
But the fact that you then went to discover it on your own, because that's something you were interested in, now you have a whole new group of friends that have the interest as well. And I say that all the time. I'm like, you guys, other people are interested in it. It's just your friend. Those people aren't interested in it. So then go and connect with them as well and being intentional about all the different ways to connect and not being afraid. So stepping out of your comfort zone or your known zone, because because I think you have a wide comfort level, if I would say, like I know from knowing you. So it's not like you're so here. It's just, this is just what I know, but that don't mean I have to stay there. Right. Yeah. So you're willing to go and do other things.
And can I say that it was not comfortable. It was not comfortable at all.
So when you say, okay, so because some people stay in their comfort zone because they're not comfortable. And then there's a doing stuff that's uncomfortable. That's two different things. When you agree? Yeah. Because if you allow yourself to be controlled by a comfort zone,
exactly,
is different than being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So when you say it's uncomfortable, so what made you push to do it anyway?
Because I feel like there's a lot of things outside of the comfort zone that benefit me. So, I mean, a lot of people get comfortable in their discomfort and they think it's comfortable, but really it's not because you haven't done anything new, right? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. They're comfortable in their discomfort. So, but I just know there's so many things out there that could bless my life and enhance my life that are outside of my comfort zone. So I had to feel uncomfortable and pursue it. And then once you do it, obviously you're comfortable and it's now part of your new comfort zone.
Right. Exactly. Well, let's talk about just the bounce back of it. What has been one of the hardest parts of redesigning your life, and what helped you push through it when it felt uncomfortable or uncertain?
I would say the hardest part was letting go of what was for what could be or what is next. Also letting go of the old version of who I was, who I thought I was. You know, I was so comfortable in my life doing all the things that I was doing, and I identified myself as that person. But, and this is kind of an aside, but Denise, you even know I had the same hairstyle. Denise and I would get pictures taken every year and I would have the same hairstyle. You guys, I did not get braids until I turned 64. That was the first time I ever got braids. I was comfortable being who I was. And, I think when we're growing up, people tell us what we're supposed to do. You're supposed to go get a job, get married, have a family, do all those things. And at some point, you just kind of fall into it and you don't look any further. So giving up that version of myself, of who people saw me as or who I was before. I think my sister may be on here. I was talking to my sister the other day and she's like, I didn't know you were so funny. Yes, I am, but people don't know it because they see me. They're like, she's so serious. She's so focused. She's so thinks. So when I just decided to, I'm funny. Okay. Sometimes, not all the time, but to have somebody in your family say, wow, I mean, she's known me all my life. Right. But I'm really just at a point where I'm letting go of all of that. I'm letting go of all of the just all the labels that people associate with me. I'm still that person, but there are other pieces of me that I think I held back. My sister just said hilarious. So I think that's the hardest thing. And ladies, think about yourself, because sometimes we thrive in who we are, right? We're thriving, but are you willing to shed that person for the new season? Because you cannot take the old person into a new season. You have to maybe you can bring all the things that person has, but if you have a new season in your life, it's kind of like your wardrobe. Anybody still wearing clothes from 2 seasons ago? Absolutely not. We just don't do that, right? It's the same thing with your life. Like you've got to move on. You've got to update your season.
So let me ask you this, Carol. Because sometimes when we have this conversation, it's like, oh, we just arrived, but somebody may be stuck in a place where they're trying to break loose. I think I did either this morning or yesterday morning. I was talking about having a breakthrough, but you got to break a cycle, right? But some people don't even know. So do you recall being in that season where you just were feeling a little stuck before you had the aha? Or do you feel that you were always knowing that you wanted to do something different? It's just a matter of making a decision.
Yeah, I was stuck. I mean, I don't want you to think that I was just like had the checklist and moving forward. I was stuck, but my mind wasn't, my body was. I knew that I was not in a good place. Does anybody know when you're not in a good place and you're just trying to figure it out? And what I would say is you've got to do one thing at a time. The first thing I did was I started working on my mindset. I just started reading more books, listening to things, going to Bible study while I was in the process of trying to move forward. I had to fill myself up because when you're on E or when you're like half empty, if there's a crisis, you go back on E real quick. So I started to fill myself to the place where I got to the point where I had the courage to do something different. The other thing is, and this is just a personal thing, my dad died when I was 5.5. And I've always felt grateful for life. And Denise, you can relate to this too. When you have a parent that you lose and they were younger, they didn't get to live that life. So you feel like I need to do that. And then on the other hand, my mom lived to 92 and I thought, I got a whole lot of years ahead of me. Right. I have a whole lot. I was like, wait a minute, I have a whole lifetime. If I don't get it together now, when am I going to get together? When I'm 85? Oh, no. That's what I mean when I said, okay, I am working for Carol at 70, 75, 8, all those ages, because listen, 30 more years ahead of you, that's a whole lifetime, you guys, right? And so if you feel like you're stuck, to look at it and go, I have time, I may have time, because we may not, but you got to look at it that way. Start preparing yourself. And it's a step-by-step process. It's not going to happen overnight. But yes, I was stuck.
And, you bring a good point. Sometimes we may think we're older, right? But then I think my grandmother's 95. So that is a whole nother 40 years. That's a whole nother, like, what am I doing? So Maxine, I see your hand is raised.
Yes, I was just going to say, Carol, you made the statement about, changing yourself as a person and all. You can't bring that old person into the new. What I've found is you bring the new person into your newness, but people won't let you go of the old you. So speak on that.
People, okay? People, that's when you start creating a new circle. You really do. You have to, because you can't take everybody into the new season that you're in either, right? And you can, and I will tell you, I am such a loyal person. I will love people, but I've learned to love people from afar and to protect my own peace. But it is so important, like Denise was saying, that we've got to go out and find new people who are at the same place that we are at this season in our life. And it happens. Do we all know that? Do we have people that you've kind of outgrown? And I will tell you this, I had situations where I had some friends who didn't like the healed Carol. They liked me much better when I was going through.
Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit more about that. When you say, like, how did it surface for you? Like, how did you know that they were challenged by that?
It's real obvious when you start getting your energy back and you start doing things that are fun, and you start doing things on your own, and you don't need, and I don't want to say you don't need them, but you don't depend on them as much, and they step back. They don't want to embrace it. Mm. They don't want to embrace, especially if you really start to shine. You know, you're doing some things that it's like, wow, I was that person before, right?
Right.
So, yeah.
Dr. Precious says, if you have to be a dysfunctional version of yourself to be in a functional relationship with someone, it's time to let them go.
Yes.
Amen.
The only problem is sometimes when we're in dysfunction, we don't even realize it.
Right.
Because it becomes normal.
We have normalized it.
We've normalized it. Yeah.
There's a one of my favorite books, I can see it from here, The Dream Giver, talks about, very similar to what you're saying, even on the kind of the flip side of it. You know, when you make a decision that you want to be better, you make a decision you have to go, you're disrupting everybody else's life. Yes. So when you were in the position where you were there for them, y'all having those misery conversations, or, you know, they could connect with you. But when you started not, you were disrupting their world. Now if you're getting healthier, it's forcing them to need to get healthier as well, but they weren't ready, right? Because it's everybody's own timing where they discover those things as well. So being able to, the important, you know, this tells you even more about having to expand based on what Maxine just asked, is that you have to keep, as you're growing, people are important to that process. You know, I said, I'm finding my people are finding me. Like, I'm finding my people are finding me. And everybody is not intended to be for you. You know, I say this all the time. God has assigned us to certain people. Mm-hmm. And that is who we are. Like, I'm not, the things that people love about me, some people hate about me. But that's okay, because you ain't my people. Like, and I'm okay with that. So, you know, Leia says, they say it all the time, I'm some people's cup of tea and some people shot of tequila, right? But I'm looking for the people that now I am also, we at the same energy level, we have the same drive but you got to go look for those people. And people around you aren't growing, but you are, that's going to be a problem every time. That's going to be a problem every time. So when you're starting to heal and stuff like that, that's unfortunate that people want to, but I can see where that has happened and never paid attention to them, because I have the gift of goodbye. I'd be like, okay.
Well, relationships are so important, and I don't know that we've been taught as women that relationships with your friends can be toxic just as well as relationships, you know, with a spouse or somebody in your life, right? So yeah.
And being courageous enough to be able to leave the situation.
Yeah.
And
you can leave with love. That's the thing. Yeah. It doesn't have to be a bad situation.
Just leave.
At all.
Just leave.
The gift of goodbye.
Now, you can just leave. Yeah, you don't have to flip those tables.
Right.
Just walk away.
Eventually they'll know you're gone.
Right. I agree. How has self-care or self-discovery shown up differently for you now that the 10 or 20 years ago? So through that season, to where you kind of prior to the season, through the season, and now?
I think 20 years ago, I thought self-care was getting my nails done, going to the beach, taking care of myself, pampering, all that stuff. But now I realize it's about what's happening on the inside. One of the things that I've really, really have grown to love is being alone, right? And being solo and doing things, but embracing it without loneliness. because sometimes people think being solo means that you're lonely. And so I've really learned to embrace, I love being around other people, but my point is that sometimes for self-care for me, and like Denise, I'll get up and go to the beach if I want to go to the beach by myself to take care of myself alone, and I'm okay with it. I mean, I've done so many, if you guys, I have changed so many things in my life. When I eat dinner, I literally use my best china. I use silver. I mean, all my towels are now white. I don't wait around for some special occasion for things anymore. So I really celebrate myself. And that, to me, the self-discovery is that I like me. You know what? I like spending time with me. I can take care of me. I can be my best advocate. So it's totally different.
Wow. So, in this stage then, so let's say when you had all the responsibilities, so this could be some people on here that are trying to juggle it all. So in that season, when you had the multiple responsibilities, how did you do it?
Oh yeah, that was the time I had to take to get pampering. I mean, I literally, a couple of things that I did. I walked because I really do feel like moving in your body is healing. And so that was one of the things that I did. Another thing that I did was I always had something around me that centered me. I have fountains that I have around the house. And I know this doesn't sound like a lot, but if water is healing to you and you're not going to the beach, bring the water to you. So I have desktop fountains around so I can listen to water, because sometimes you don't have large periods of time to just go somewhere and get taken care of. You have to take, sometimes it's seconds, sometimes it's minutes. Some people don't even realize breathing. Breathing is something that's helpful for you to do, to just take time and do things like that. I do yoga and Pilates. Everybody's not into that, but just figuring out little small ways that you can just kind of feel yourself in the midst of chaos. Because you're right, when you're going through, when you're a caregiver, you have children, you have a job, you have all these things going on, you need to know that taking care of yourself and self-care is not something that you have to put on the calendar. It's not something you have to schedule. You can stop right where you are and take time to breathe, take time to think, take time to listen to music, listen to gospel, read a scripture, little things like that.
And you bring a good point up with the music and the scripture. And I think everybody need to have a song. Like, you have to have some go-to. So whenever you're feeling the moment, that you have something that's quick go-to. What's your quick go-to, your scripture? What's your quick go-to song? Some songs, what do you need to just kind of mellow yourself out? What do you need to just kind of get yourself up in gear? We were talking about confidence on Friday night at our event. And I said, what's your go-to to get your confidence where it needs to be? You need to have a lip look. You need to have a hairstyle. You need to have a clothing. Like, that's stuff that's quick, that when I put this on, I feel some kind of way, right?
Yes.
In a good way. When I put this lip color on, when I had a full whole makeup, I knew what eyeshadows I would wear. Like, I knew a whole full, that gave me just like, because I knew there was no question. I knew clothing, I'd have the snug on them. Like, that's another way that when you feel good about how you look, helps you. That's why I always tell women, when you're feeling down, you got to clean up, because you have to take that extra time, because it makes you feel some kind of way, right, about yourself. So if you haven't figured out what that is, your scripture, your song, your outfit, your thing that you like to do, if it's a certain meal you go eat, like certain people, let's talk about the people, having certain people that you need, that you can know that when I go and talk with them, it's not judgmental. I can freely talk, and I get soothed by them. Like, you have to know those things. So in an emergency, right, when you need some shaking, that you have some, some things in place as well.
Absolutely.
So, bless you. Yeah, put them songs in. Yes.
Yeah, and the thing about music, I feel like music just bypasses your mind, goes straight to your spirit. Like, you don't have time to argue with it. It just bypasses everything.
Yes. Yeah, with that. What advice would you share with other women who are trying to figure out what's next?
Ooh, Advice. Wow. um, I can only give advice based on what has worked for me. And one of the biggest things is to really decide what you want your life to look like, who you want to be, how you want to look, how you want to feel. And then, you know how, who says, Stephen Covey says, begin with the end in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Start living the way that you want it to be at the end. Don't wait for some miracle to happen, something great, the seas to part or anything like that. Start living that every single day. And that's been my thing. I just keep thinking, oh, how many of you, let me just ask you this. How many of you look back and go, girl, when I was 10 years ago, I was ... Or I remember when 5 years ago, well, guess what? In 10 years, this is going to be 5 years ago. Right. And one of the things that I realized, I went back and looked at some pictures and I said, I was kind of cute 10 years ago, but 10 years ago, I was trying to be cuter. Like I didn't think, you know what I'm saying? Right. So this is who we are. We only have this moment right now. So start with the beginning, the end in mind, and start living that now. So 5 years from now, you can go, yep, that she took care of me. And because I thank my 29-year-old self, I left corporate America because I used to say, when I'm 65, I will not be working for anybody. I won't be doing these. And guess what? That I thank that 29-year-old, okay? Because the day I turned 65, I was not doing any of those things that I didn't want to do. Mm-hmm. But it started then. Yeah, ask yourself hard questions, Precious. Really.
Yeah, yeah.
And then tell the truth. Okay? Ask yourself some hard questions, but tell the truth.
I know on our Make It Make Sense podcast, they were talking about having even those people that's your safe space that they would tell you the truth. Mm-hmm. Well, so, and we do have to have the come to Jesus moments with ourselves when it's time to really identify those moments as well. So I heard you say, just kind of going back, if we had to kind of bring it to this point, that you, and I'm a big believer in this part, that you had to strip off all the labels, right? Stripped off all the labels. So I always tell people, if you take the labels off, who are you? Yes. Right? Because you own all the gifts and talents, not the labels. Even as a mom, what is it about you with mom? Like, I'm not your major nurturer. That's not my gift as a mom. So mom is a whole label, but what is it for you? That's who you are. It's not just because you're the mom. So being able to start there as stripping it all off, and then being able to say, okay, and asking yourself, what do I like? What brings me joy? Being able to figure out that, because the fact that you Shakespeare archery, I see you turn up with the weights. I was like, there we go. Come on, girl. Come on. Let's do the hit workouts.
And Denise knows I was like, anything that has turbo hit or anything, I'm not doing it. That's what I used to tell you, right? But then I need to bring you into this, Denise, because you have transitioned so many times as well. I've watched you go from not wanting to eat clean, not wanting to do any of that stuff, and totally transitioning. I've watched you take the loss of your sister and turn that into a event where you're empowering women and teaching them about ovarian cancer. I know that you probably don't want the spotlight, but you have done so many things. And I have to tell you, when you did your vision, what's it called? Victory, the
vision board experience.
Ladies, if you have not gone, make sure you go this year, because that was a pivotal moment for me, because everybody was in there writing in all the things that they had to do for their life, and they were so busy. And I looked at my calendar, and it was empty. It was work, it was my business, and my workout, which I was doing at home. And at that moment, I realized I have so many things to fill in to fulfill my life. So thank you for that vision board party.
Wonderful, wonderful. And we all learn from each other. That's the great thing, learning from each other, being able to boldly take care I think the biggest thing I've watched you is be bold about taking care of yourself. Yes. And bold about being able to do whatever, because we laugh because Carol sings about, I need my freedom. I was like, yes, you do, Carol. Like, she talks about that freedom. She won't commit to nothing because she got to have freedom.
Tell them about, you asked me something about something in
I asked her about an event the first Saturday in February. Yeah. Is it unrealistic to say yay or nay? So she was like, ooh, I don't know if I can commit. One, because she don't know what city or state she's gonna be in, but I was like, okay, girl, if it's a seat still available, I'll tell you about it. If not, like, go be free. Go be free.
I live for freedom and flexibility my entire life.
100%.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. Find out what you live for.
Right.
And then make sure you customize your life around that.
And stand on it.
Yeah.
Let's stand on it and be courageous. So anybody have any questions for Carol?
Or for Denise?
It was something I wanted to come back to too.
You see if there's anything that I missed on here.
It's about the depending, but now I don't know. Oh. Let's talk about how you, because I know I watched this tremendously, how you worked on your faith. You got into the word. Just you were in different Bible studies. Like
Yes.
I watched the season that you were in. Tell us just how. I mean, I know it's like, well, how do you talk about faith? But it was an intentional move you made. Like you were, you pulled away from some things. You got really into that. So tell us kind of the why and the process of that. Maybe that can help somebody know, how to pursue that.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, when you remember what I was talking about when you're on E, I needed to be filled. And I was probably in 3 different Bible studies, and not the kind where you're just running from church to church, anything like that. They were Bible studies that I intentionally selected to fill me up. Because honestly, the only thing I have is the word. Okay. Anything else, I can't stand on that. But that's what that was the beginning of what was filling me up in the midst of any crisis. So if a crisis happened, I still had that. And I was so intentional. You are so right, Denise. I mean, has anybody ever been going to 3 different Bible studies in a week? Like I went to 3 different Bible studies, and all of them were focused on just strengthening my faith, right? And my walk, because I knew that was important and I needed that. I could not do that. That's not something you just wake up and say, maybe somebody can do it. Just wake up and say, okay, I'm going to change. I'm going to go forth and be great, right? You got to have something that's going to empower you and give you the power to do that. So a lot of, that's why one of the things when Denise and I were talking, I was like, I don't want people to think that, oh, I just have it all together and I just made all these changes. It was a process. And so that's why I would say to anybody, just start. I feel like once you make one step to pursue, that you will know what to do next. And I know Denise has heard this, and Tina, you may have heard this too. You know that song, "When I Move, You Move," just like that. When I move, God moves just like that. That's the way I feel like if I sow seeds, that God will produce the harvest. It's not my job to produce the harvest. So that was really important.
Awesome. In my notes too. So anybody have any questions? I'll have to try some different things. And maybe the trying of the different things is what is going to ignite us, because we have gotten so used to what we've been doing, and that is just keeping us in the same space. So, and that's one of your statements that you have always said, if you want something different, you got to do something different.
You want something you never had, you got to do something you've never done.
Right. So, and you are definitely watching you live that out in your the things that you're doing, the things that you're trying. And we won't know until we try it if we are going to like it. But if we stay doing stuck with the same thing, and then just the new people that you've met, the things you're learning from the new people as well. So anything else that you want to share?
No, I would just love to hear from some of the ladies, like any transitions that you've gone through, or is there anything that you heard that makes you feel like, okay, I can move forward, I can take another step, or I can go in this direction. because as women, we collectively are more alike than we are different.
Right.
So I know that I'm not the only person. I'm on the, she has me on the screen, on the spotlight, but there's so many of you that have experiences that other people could benefit from. So
Right.
I would love you to just chime in and share.
I'll take you off the spotlight so we can.
So
Hey,
yes,
Denise.
Miss
Hey,
Carol. Oh, I'm
Hey,
sorry.
hi,
I'm sorry.
Oliver. I'm sorry. Did someone?
It's all of us trying to talk.
Oh,
Go
no.
ahead,
So let's
Oliver.
do it in this order. Let's do it in this order. Miss, I think it said Tolliver, then
Yeah.
Cheryl, and then Maxine. Okay.
Okay.
Tolliver, Cheryl, Maxine.
Okay. I'm Elizabeth Tolliver. I just came in on the. I'm sorry, I'm a little late coming on and everything, but I think this is God given because all I did was looked at my text and I said, "What is this? I'm on another meeting. Hold on." And when I joined in, I said, "Oh my goodness, this sounds like a support group. I need this. I need this because I'm just going to be honest with you. I have been dealing with loss and grief, and my father, my mother-in-law passed 2 months ago. Then come to find out, my father-in-law has terminal cancer, and I'm dealing with the fact that I have a disability myself, which is epilepsy. My husband found me on the floor this morning, and I'm trying to work, do it, focus on my nonprofit. And I always think to myself, what I want to do? What do you want to do, Liz? What do you want to do? You're stressing yourself out. I get to the point where I feel like giving up.
Mhm.
And then I go to church, I pray, and then next thing I know, I take it away. And I feel like, why are you doing this? You're praying, and then you're not being faithful. You don't have the faith. It's like, where's your faith? Where's your strength? What are you going to do, Elizabeth? And it takes my cousin to always tell me, I think you kind of bipolar. But I said, I'm not bipolar. I flip flop. And I don't know how to stop doing that to myself. Besides, I go to God and I pray to God and I let him know how I feel every day. I meditate by reading my daily bread, but then I will go right back into that zone of, something just click back over. And I'm like, okay, I'm stressed all over again. And I don't know how to control that. My husband feel like I'm, of course, nagging because I'm like, asking for advice from my husband, who's also going through some things, the death of his mother, and now his father is in hospice, and he probably feels like I'm nagging, but I'm like, I need some help. And I just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Then I worry about my own health. And I'm like, how do I get this? How did I end up with this? I have epilepsy that popped up on me when I'm 35 years old. Then all of a sudden, bam, boom, boom. Oh, you have Crohn's. Oh, now you have PBC. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And some days I just feel like, I said, Lord, give me a sign that if what I'm doing wrong, what I need to do right, anything. And it's just, when you mention, working out, they tell me all the time. I used to have doctors tell me all the time, you need to be on a Mediterranean diet. The first thing pop in my head, I can't have no bacon. I can't do this. I can't do that. And I'm thinking, okay, I tried it. And I'm like, I like it. But now my thing is, Elizabeth, you need to exercise more. You're not exercising. And I have a dog and I can be out there walking. And when I listen to music and walk, I enjoy myself. Mm-hmm. I do. And I can feel, and that's why I put in there in the chat, Charlie Wilson, I'm blessed. And when I hear that, some just, my mind just go, come on, Elizabeth, you blessed. You're doing the right thing. You're moving forward what you're trying to do with your nonprofit. But, once that, it's like once the radio is off, my mind is back on that negativity all over again. And I'm trying to learn how to understand how to not do that to myself.
Yeah.
And it's hard. it's hard to when I go to God and I pray about things, and next thing I know, I'm just flipping back into that down, like I'm just depressed mode all over again.
Has anything today been helpful for you?
Yes, it has.
Okay.
Yes.
And I will just say this, in scripture says, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. When you go back into that spiral, you know what? I'll just take it from, that's the scriptural part of it, but the physical part of it is our brain doesn't know the difference between a lie and a truth.
Mm.
So just tell it a lie. Because it's not a lie, but tell it what you wanted. Your brain is your obedient servant. Your brain is your obedient servant.
Okay.
And even if you're not feeling it right now, keep telling it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then if you're not in community, and well, first of all, let's say your emotions are real, and
yes,
we have all went back and forth, right? So you're not alone. Definitely, you're not alone. And getting into community with others, like who are you? I tell people when you're just trying to figure out by yourself, you're battling your own thoughts. You don't have any fresh thoughts, and no one else but you, right? So the whole it's going right back and forth into you. So getting in community, I think, is a big piece of it, as well as and acknowledging that's a part of it. Lord, just show me how to get out. Don't beat yourself about that piece, but getting into community is definitely, I think, would be beneficial. And I'm a big advocate for therapy. I don't know if you've gone through therapy as well. So being open to that and not thinking that that's a bad thing. Have you gone through grief counseling? Like you mentioned so many different things, that are you addressing those things, or versus trying to address them yourself?
Yes.
Addressing it myself, trying to address it myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have a therapist, and then of course, I don't take your insurance anymore. And I'm like, I had built a relationship with the therapist, and it's like, well, I don't accept your insurance anymore. But, who has their own personal therapist cell phone number? I just call it like, I need to talk to you.
Yeah.
But I try not to, overwhelm him. So I just kind of leave it alone. But what I do is I do collaborate in the community, definitely, with working with the families and everything. But I need to focus on Elizabeth.
Yes.
And that's something that I'm not good at. I love helping people. That's just a part of me. Mm-hmm. That is a learned behavior that I inherited from my mother. I can't help that. But when it comes to me being able to help myself, I have a problem with it. I do. And
I feel, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just feel like when it comes to Liz, you need to focus on Liz, focus on giving time to yourself, doing for yourself, focusing on more positive things than always worried about what the organization need, what this need. I don't have any help. I don't have any support. And when you mention get new friends, find new friends. And something just amazing happened today. I just ran into somebody at Walmart, and me and her just started talking. It was like, I've been knowing her forever, but I was like, God just put that lady in my life just like that. And we were just communicating. She said, the Lord just told me to tell you, you're going to be blessed.
Mm.
And I'm just going to be honest. I was so happy, and I felt the Holy Spirit just touch me like, God, thank you. And all I did was say it. Oh, you looking for cough syrup too, huh?
You opened your mouth.
I opened my mouth and I said, you looking for a cough suppressor too? And she said, no, actually, my child has a disability. And bing, me being a former educator, I just started talking.
Wow.
And we helped each other just like that.
Are you part of the Decide tribe?
No.
Denise.
Where do you live?
Where I live?
Uh-huh.
I live in Olive Branch, Mississippi, but
okay.
But my organization is in Memphis.
Okay. So I will reach out because I got all your information. So I'll
Okay.
reach out to you. We'll follow up.
Okay.
Get you in our community.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. This was God given, I promise. Because I said, I said, am I supposed to do another meeting? You know how you're like, click up. I'm I'm listening on. I'm listening.
Awesome. So I can't forgot who I said was next. Was it Cheryl? Then Maxine?
Yes, ma'am. It was
Okay.
me. Good evening.
Good evening.
Um, this has been very enlightening. Just like Miss Tolliver, my text popped up and I said, I'm going to join tonight, and I'm grateful. You asked for an experience. I recently relocated to Fort Worth, Texas. I have been with the same company for 30 years and just felt that it was time that God was moving me in a different season. And I put my foot in the water and I committed. And I've been here for 6 months and really I won't say that I found community. I'm still looking for community. My husband is still in Memphis, so he's back and forth. He just retired about 2 weeks ago, as a matter of fact. So he is back and forth, and so it is a process. It is truly a process. I truly have to be intentional about even just small things like finding somewhere to work out or finding somewhere to walk or what church do you go to? Or I am very comfortable being alone. I love doing nothing. So I really have to fight against that to find community because I really literally can go into my house on Friday and not come out until Monday. So I have to be intentional about building community because I had a great community at home. So, but that was at home. So I'm trying to figure out what does the next season for Cheryl look like? My dad lived until he was 90. And I just text my sister. I was like, girl, daddy lived till he was 90. We got a lot of more living to do. And she was like, what are you doing? I said,
She missed the call.
I said, I'm listening to this call. I'll tell you all about it. So, and I was like, texting her, you can't take the old you into the new season. She was like, what? So just know your words are already moving, girl. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome, Cheryl. Thank you. Thank you. Maxine?
Hi, Carol. Denise, this is another one for the books, girl. Love it. I love it. And it also, like everyone else said, it popped up on my time. I said, oh, let me hurry up and register and get on here. But Miss Carol, I can actually relate to a lot of things you said. I went through divorce, going to school, decided going back to school, getting my degrees, kids grown, everybody out of the house, everything. And so all of a sudden it was like all this hustle and bustle, and then everything just stopped. And then I have to say, girl, what you about to do? You in this house by yourself. So what I went out and did was, I am definitely scared of dogs. I got me a dog. I went and got me a little dog. Yes, I got me a little. Oh, I love my baby to death. I've had him six years now, and and that was the reason I started my walking and everything. And I hear a lot of people saying they have to find somewhere to go and work out. Baby, my bedroom turns into my workout place. And so now I'm just so intentional about everything I do and if you hear me, and Denise has heard me say this, I do stuff now to better me so I can better the people around me or the space around me. And so I can't let that old me override the new me. And I'm loving this new me. I'm loving my skin tone. I'm loving my attitude. I'm loving everything about me.
Yay,
So,
Maxine. Yes.
so
I love it.
yeah, so this is my season, and I don't do anything or move and do anything without consulting my God Almighty. that's every morning. I do not plant my feet on the ground without saying thank you, turning on my meditation, riding to work with it on. Recently, I just inherited my oldest grandson, so he's here with me. He makes me young. And I love it. And I just see the change in him being around me. And I just thank God for everything that's going on in my life right now. And and for me, it's up for me, and I'm on the move, and I'm gonna keep on doing what I'm doing. I'm always being a doer and a giver, and I'm not gonna stop it regardless of what people say. If I'm doing it for the limelight, baby, I'm doing it for me and what God has planted in me since day one. So
Oh,
thank you both.
Oh, I love it.
yes, I get the benefit of being front row at some of the things that Maxine is doing. I'm so excited for you making that decision to, because growth, you guys, when we talk about, the growing pains, that's the word I'm looking for, the growing pains, that's literal. Like when growing pains are literal, like when you make a decision that you're going to grow, beyond the physical thing, growing pains are literal. So it's stretching outside. You lose some friends in the process. You get stretched in the process. But when you make that decision and you look up that 5 years from now person, because you made that decision that Carol is talking about, it is worth it, you guys. That there is so much, and as God wakes us up every day, He's giving us the opportunity to continue to fulfill what He has called us to do. And sometimes your season has changed. The reason season of our lifetime. Sometimes that changes. And so then asking God for the courage to be who He has called you to be, right? And to step in it. And I'll tell you, Elizabeth, it ain't easy. Like we all here like, oh, we can smile, but we all have a different type of struggle of some sort that we are dealing with. And we have to continue to go back to God in prayer, like, Lord, still ain't got it right, but being willing to go back to know that He is still there and He is not going to leave us nor forsake us, that He is still going to be there the same. We're the ones that just have to get it together, but that's a part of the process as well. So through that, there's still things that we can learn as we are growing to be the best version, the version that He has called us to be, not just the version that we think is good, but it's really being in line with what He has called us to be as well. So y'all got me excited, but but did anybody else have anything? Anybody have anything? Is LaShawn still on here? LaShawn, did we answer your question? What was your process leading up to your breakthrough? It feels like I am close to mine, but uncomfortable. Did we answer that?
You did. I too joined a little later, and like the other ladies shared, I happened to be scrolling through and saw the topic, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm missing it because I'm thinking, it's close to this final quarter. But everything that's been said already has resonated. I'm grateful for this platform. The topics are very timely, especially tonight. I felt as if it was already addressed, but I don't know if it made sense. Um, I have felt really uncomfortable. It's almost just like being against the wall. And it's like, as women, we work hard, we love hard. Everything we do, we put so much into it. And it's just for me, it's time out for that. And it's like unlearning some of the behaviors and focusing on me, making myself that priority that I've made everyone else. And it's very uncomfortable. So I was interested in knowing what was your process before you really pressed in, because I heard the growing pains and I feel like I'm right there, and I'm getting frustrated because I think I'm afraid of just doing it. I have the idea. I have the things. They're kind of I'm half in, half out. I don't know what the fear is. I have nothing to lose, but I don't understand it.
You want to address Carol? Yes.
And I'm not sure if when we talked about leaving your old self in the other season, sometimes it's so hard to let go of who we are, who we're comfortable with, and who we've been forever. And so you kind of feel like you're up against the wall because you want to move forward, but you know that you can't take your old self with you. You can take all the wonderful things, with you, but not who your identity. And I'm not sure if that answers your question, because we talked a little bit about that, but that is a big one, is letting go of what was so that you can move into what can be.
And
that's exactly, yes, that's exactly what it is. Exactly how it feels.
It's hard. It's tough. It's like leaving an old friend.
Right.
And Ms. Grimes, I'm sorry. Again, can I say this? I hear her saying being uncomfortable. What I learned is being uncomfortable sometimes pushes you, and not only pushes you, the people that you're going to meet along the way, or the people that's around you now, are going to become uncomfortable with the new you, and you're just going to have to embrace that.
Yeah. And let me just say this, being uncomfortable is not a reason not to move. I always tell people, move scared. You can stay still, uncomfortable and afraid, or you can move uncomfortable and afraid.
It's facing the fear and doing it anyway.
Yeah.
Facing the fear and doing it anyway. And what I would say, add to it, is when you think about, because when you're saying you're trying to figure out what fear, it's the fear of the unknown. I would say it's one of the fears. It's the fear of the unknown. As I said earlier, that known zone we were talking about, but it's the fear of the unknown. So I just made a transition myself of a season that I was very comfortable with, did it. And and I talked to Kara about this. It was the attachment of the people attached to me in that season as well. So I didn't want to let them down, let them go. Well, I didn't have a problem with letting them go. I had a problem with letting them down. So of the connection I had with them. But I knew that God was calling me to a bigger. At first, I thought he was the newness was he was calling me to do something. It's like you can be in the season of an and season or an or season. The and is I'm gonna do this and that, or the season of replacement. I'm gonna do this or that. So I was struggling with the or. So I had did the and for a while. Now it's time for the or. But what I realized, it wasn't a season of the or. He was just enlarging the season. So a bigger place for me to serve versus me feeling the smaller piece that I was letting them down. The bigger piece was, of course, I didn't want to let God down, right? I want to serve in the capacity that he has. So then my prayer became, Lord, give me the courage to serve in the capacity that you have now called me to. Because a lot of times we'll pray for Lord, enlarge my territory. If you have prayed that prayer, put it in the chat, confess. A lot of us have prayed that. And then when it comes, it's outside the comfort zone. It's something we didn't know. Then we don't know what to do with it. So anytime I'm that afraid, it's now my big prayer is like, Lord, order my steps, but give me the courage to move. Like we ask them ordering, but then when it looks different, we like, wait, hold up. That's not what I expected. So instead of that, it then becomes, okay, which could be uncomfortable, right? Because we don't know what to do. We didn't see this before. But I don't want to be the person I used to be. I don't want to, even as we were coming out of COVID, I didn't want to go back to what it used to be. I wanted the new normal, but I didn't know what that looked like. But I just wanted to have the courage to do that. So the scariness of doing something you've been doing for 28 years and being able to say, okay, I'm going to let this go because I can't grow if I don't let that go. So are you holding on to something because that's what we've been used to? Are we holding on to something because of just it's comfortable, and not afraid? Like we can't grab a hold to God if we got holding on to something else. So we got to free ourselves up to be able to reach in to get what he has called us to do. So I will say this too. The reason that made it easier for me to have the courage to move to the next level, because I had the community. I had people pouring into me. I had people talking. I mean, my daughter keeps saying, bet on you, like when you have people around you, and they got to be people, like we got to let go of the people that we think are in our corner and go find your people. Like it may be a community of women who believe in each other that you just met tonight. We may be the people, right? That we're going to encourage each other. But because some people who are locked in on their full-time job, and don't think that way, it's hard for them to push you to make a move, to move across country, to leave a job if they're not courageous enough to do it themselves. So I, tonight gonna title this community. Like, we need people in our space that's going to be the one that's encourages, that you can talk through it and say, we can always come back to this place if it's nothing major, but really stepping out on faith is, I've been living in a season of blind trust, y'all, and it is hard. It is hard, but it's I said, okay, I'm going to step out like that. But it's that focus on it as well. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. But getting in a good space of people who can talk to you, what are you listening to? Your devotionals. And me, I can't just do a devotional by myself. Because one, I'm just stirring up my own thoughts. I need other people's perspective. Mm-hmm. And I think God has built us to be in community so that we can grow from each other as well. So that's my thought.
So that's your story. You sticking to it. And you know what? You said something, and I just want to affirm you on that. You said that you're going to go, what did you say? Blind
trust.
Blind trust, because I just recently heard someone say the opposite of faith is not fear, it's sight. Let that marinate.
Don't focus on what you see, focus on your vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully that was helpful. And if you don't have a community, you guys got to get into
this is a great one. This is a great one.
Yeah, we welcome you into the Decide Tribe.
Yeah.
Because when I tell you I'm passionate about helping people be their best version, and the joke for me is I'm flipping switches and pushing buttons. I am trying to figure out where your light is. I want to help you shine brightly and do it unapologetically. And I'm going to push your button. Like, I'm going to push you to where God has called you to be. And we don't want fear to be what stops us. If you just don't want to do it, that's one thing. But we don't want fear to be the reason why you don't do it as well. So awesome. All right. So yay. Wait, because we want you to follow Carol. So let me get my little last couple slides, and we can be off here. It's always our intention to be done by 9, but we do want the conversation to be engaging and for people to be able to grow from. I can never find this little circle. There it is.
Especially since I said, Denise, I have about 10 or 15 minutes worth of conversation. Hopefully, I think we accomplished it.
I think we accomplished it. We did. We accomplished it. So follow Carol. Make sure you follow Carol on Instagram and Facebook. Her book will be coming out soon.
Yes, it's a journal.
It'll be a journal. So I'm pushing her between her and my other friend that's on here, Madeline. We're going to get them journals done. 2026, we got to get them journals done. So make sure you follow Carol Walter Adams on, but you're more active on Instagram, right?
Instagram, yes.
Yeah, so follow her on Instagram and be encouraged. And then I always like to end with this one slide right here. It's our logo for Empowered by DS is the Empower Me. The whole goal is to help women of all backgrounds to be able to come together. Empowered women empower. So what you have learned today, you guys, it's not just for you. You have now been empowered, right? So we're going to take this and be able to help somebody else. Do like Cheryl, call your sister them and tell them it's a new day. We're doing some things differently because we are our sister's keepers. So remember, we share because we care. So we thank you for being on tonight. Hopefully there was something that was said. And for those of you who came on late, it was recorded. So I will post a recording on our Empowered by DS on YouTube so that it is worth listening to as well. So have a great rest of the night. Remember, next week is menopause. So make sure you be here at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. We'll be here talking about menopause, moving through menopause as well. So Have a great rest of the night, everybody.
Thank you for this platform.
Thank you,
Thank
Carol.
you. Love you, ladies, and good night.
Good night.
Night.
Good night. Have a good week.